Hello everyone, it's Silvia from Tarot. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you a few decks that entered my collection in the last couple of days. We're going to have a lot of fun. So the first one we're going to talk about has been very excited because it is a Kickstarter reward, and it's a really beautiful deck. It's very sweet, and I'm sure there's, well, as a matter of fact, I know that there's at least 500 worldwide pledgers, and obviously the rewards are getting shipped out. So I live in Australia, so as a matter of fact, I was probably one of the last ones to receive this deck. But I have to say, I was really stoked because it didn't take long. And okay, you probably guessed it, it's the Unicorn's Journey Tarot by Lisa Pepez, and I am so happy about receiving this deck. So I literally got it in this morning, and I just could not wait to film the unboxing. When we're talking about shipping, obviously when you're in Australia, but also in South America, I believe we kind of share the same problems. There's always a delay. So we usually receive any parcel that comes from the US. It takes about 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks, if not longer, to reach Australia. And then obviously, you know, once it's in the Australian territory, it is given to the local post office. So obviously the international shipment is not responsible anymore. Okay, these are the stickers, and I have to say it was super quick. So I remember I was watching a live video on Lisa's channel, and a lot of us were saying, I'm so excited because I received a notification I'm going to receive the deck on Tuesday, on Wednesday, etc. And when it comes to me, I was telling myself, it's okay, Silvia, be patient, because Australia takes a lot longer, so it's fine. You're probably going to see it in a couple of weeks' time. It's going to be okay. And then this morning, it just was there. I opened the door because I received a notification, and it said it's been delivered. And I'm like, okay. And I opened the door, and it was there in the front porch. So I'm really happy to say it was super quick. And the reason why I want to make this clear, so just to share a bit of the transit time, this deck was given, the information of the post and the shipping was given to the international forwarding shipping company on the 10th of October. And it just was delivered today, which is the 23rd of October. So it took 13 days. But as I said, the last couple of days, it didn't depend on the international shipping company. It was obviously given into the hands of Australia Post. And so it really depends on Australia Post lead times. So I will have to say that it took 11 days to reach Australia. And then it really depends on where you're located in Australia, because that's outside of the responsibility of the creator of the Kickstarter campaign. So I was really stoked because I don't think I've ever had any decks coming from the US delivered, you know, into Australia, or at least arriving in Australia within 11-12 days. So the reason why I'm saying this is because at the time of filming, we have a launching date for a second deck published, created by Lisa together with her wife Peggy, and it's called the Sassy Dragon, and it comes in 2 different editions, and one is, let's say, the standard edition, and one is not suitable for work. And I was able to see a lot of the cards for both editions. I have to say, I really want to get both because they're absolutely adorable. They're really cute. It's called the Sassy Dragon, so you can imagine the art style, but also the humor that can be found in every card. And for the non-suitable for work edition, it's also really sassy. So at the time of filming, it's still not launched yet, but at the time in which I will be posting this video, it will have launched. And so I'll make sure to put a link in the description box below, just for you if you want to check out the campaign and back it. So this one is the Unicorn's Journey Tarot, and it's the story of Mystique and basically her life adventures, and you know, everything Mystique goes through within her life in the journey through the major arcanas and then the minor arcanas, of course. It has been illustrated, it's created by Lisa Papez, illustrated by Francesca Paiocchi, who's Italian, like me. Hi, Francesca. You've done a fantastic job. And these are the stickers, and I have to say they are absolutely super duper cute. I really, really love them. And I have a passion for stickers, of course, and so I'm going to be using them in my journal. But for now, let's just open up this deck. Okay, here it is. Oh, it feels amazing. This is a really silky feel, and I really, really appreciate that, because I'm all for the visual, but also the tactile feel to the decks. It's an experience in and by themselves. And we've got obviously this really beautiful glossy embossed, I believe it's called, but I could be completely wrong. But it's, in any case, you can definitely feel where the words have been imprinted. And it's a wraparound magnetic box, really, really beautiful. And as you can see here, there's something, discover the magic within. The Unicorn's Journey Tarot is a deck that tells a story about a little unicorn named Mystique who goes on a journey to discover who they are and what they are capable of. The storytelling in this deck will help beginners to understand the meaning of each card, while it will invite seasoned tarot readers to explore fresh perspectives and possibilities for interpretation. So I have to say that this is also going to be available. Lisa was confirming, so I reached out to her this morning, and this will be available on her Etsy shop. I will make sure to try and get the link to the Etsy shop, but in any case, as I said, there will be a link to the Sassy Dragon campaign in the description box below. So let me just open it, and can I say, I just really love these colors. They're pastel colors, very, very nice. And then it opens up like this, and it says, do you ever lie on your back and gaze at the sky, wishing you were something other than you are? Yes, of course, I think everyone does. I mean, dreaming, it's part of who we are as humans, of course. This is a quote from Stephen Cosgrove, Morgan and me. And can I just say, I always appreciate when I can use the ribbon to lift out the guidebook, because you don't always have the possibility. Sometimes the ribbon in these decks is not as long as to be able to fold it on top of the guidebook as well, but this is really well done. So this is the guidebook. So this is a first impression. So just to reiterate, I always do first impressions, and during the first impressions I literally show you the deck still wrapped up, then I open the deck, I unbox it for you. We are literally going down a journey together in unboxing and discovering these decks. However, these are first impressions in the sense that I don't necessarily do a deep dive of the cards. I don't necessarily do a full walkthrough. I look at the cards, I look at the guidebook. I may or may not read something out of the guidebooks. And the reason why I'm saying this is because there are different methods, so different tarot tubers do unboxing in different ways. This is the way I find myself most comfortable in doing an unboxing. So this is the guidebook, as I said, really beautiful tactile feel to this as well, very smooth, very silky. I love the fact that the pages are actually edged in different colors, because this will immediately give you the idea of where you want to go. If you want to check out the major arcanas only, for example, they are edged in purple, and then we've got the Suit of Fire, which is this maroon red. Then of course we got the Suit of Water with this teal green, and we've got the yellow for the Suit of Air or Swords, and the green for the Suit of Pentacles or Earth. I think there's obviously an introduction. This book is dedicated to everyone who has ever or will ever let their magic shine from the inside out. That is a very well-known, let's say, thing that Lisa likes to say. There's the addressing by Lisa, Dear Tarot Explorer. And then there's... now I think it's Peter S. Big, oh, The Last Unicorn, of course. So there's a quote from The Last Unicorn here. And a poem by Marlena, which is really nice. If Mystique were a poem, there'll be me. That's really nice. It's very, because I know all of them. I know Lisa, of course, I know Marlena. It's very nice to be able to see what they've done in their creations and how they combine their efforts to come out with this creation. It's always really, really cool. And of course, being a member of Lisa's channel, I was always able to see, you know, the behind the scenes of the creation of the deck, which is always really cool as well. So about the deck, of course, and Major Arcana, Self-Worth Theme. And then we start, of course, with the cards. And for the cards, we've got, I can see here, and a bit of an introduction, a bit of a description, and then we've got the interpretation for the upright and the reverse meaning, and then a self-worth message. And I believe that can be found perhaps also for the minors. Let's have a look. For a fire, yeah, exactly the same. So we have 2 full pages. We do not have the thumbprints of the cards, but we don't really care because we have the cards, of course. So we don't really need to have a thumbprint on the pages of the guidebook as well. Amazing. So as I said, I will definitely work with this deck. It comes also with the certificate of authenticity, and see how easy it is. It's so much better when the ribbon is this long. Now, obviously today, because I have the super duper long, make your life impossible nails, stiletto nails, obviously it's, I feel really goofy in handling things. But I will say that this is the last video with these nails, and next week, which is the last week of October, or Spooktober as I call it, I've actually selected a set of nails which is actually a lot easier to wear, so you will not see me being goofy when I handle the decks. At the back of the box here it says, "May your magic always shine from the inside out," which is what we really believe, all of us. We must believe in this, obviously, otherwise we wouldn't be here, you know, gawking and looking at these really beautiful decks and being so happy that we just received them in the mail, obviously. So these are the bags. I remember that there were a few stretch goals that were met during the campaign. I was actually able to assist the live of the launch, and so it's really nice to see how you know, we all work together towards the stretch goals that resulted in these really nice backings. This is obviously linen. It's a very nice linen. Very, as you can see, very smooth, so it's very easy to fan out. Obviously, as I said, it comes with the certificate of authenticity. My copy is number 1363 out of 2000 decks. So I believe that, let's put it this way, I don't think that all 2000 decks were to be shipped as rewards of the Kickstarter. I believe though that they were produced or printed to 2000, and so whatever is left out of the printout will be sold through Lisa's Etsy store. However, I'm not entirely sure, so Lisa will be able to tell you, of course, and you can reach out to her if you want to grab a copy yourself. And this is Mystique, so we're getting to know them and know what their dreams are and what their life is going to be, and it feels like we're going in this journey together with them, which is always really nice. So as I said, because this is an unboxing, I'm just gonna give you first impressions and not necessarily go through all of the cards. I'm sure that there's been a few walkthroughs or even deep dives of this deck in the last couple of weeks, obviously, and if you're not a backer, you can definitely check them out. But in any case, when I will study this deck, you will see this deck on my channel a number of times, because of course when I do receive a deck, I really like to work with it, and I like to see how it feels. I like to see how I can relate to the deck, if the cards and the artwork and the energy and the vibe of the deck actually resonates with me as well. So it's something that it's a process for me, and I might be slower than others, but it takes me a while to actually form a bond with the deck. And it's not just, sometimes it's love at first sight, and of course I love the images here, but I believe believe that love at first sight sometimes can be deceptive, in the sense that obviously you need to work with the deck in order to be able, if you yourself respond well to how the deck reads and all of the energies that it's evoking. So I really love the images. I think these are absolutely gorgeous. The colors and the art style, the line work are really fantastic. I love that we go from these really beautiful and saturated pinks and blues and greens to this, you know, burnt oranges and yellows and browns. It's always very interesting to see the capabilities and the skills of a creator, the illustrator in this case, Francesca, because I believe that it actually tells a lot about the creator's soul, the illustrator's soul, obviously. And when we're looking at the deck and we're trying to bond with the deck, let's not forget that the deck is not just an object, or rather, being it an object is probably one of the smallest or the least important things that you should consider. This is a creation, this is an expression, this is Lisa's own soul and personality poured, you know, out from her own heart into the cards themselves. And obviously that goes for Francesca's as well. So I'm really happy to see it. And obviously it's not just for this deck, but it's for every deck's creator. And that's one of the reasons why I always read the guidebooks. Even though, as you can see, this is obviously an RWS based deck. And can I read it without the guidebook? I probably can. Do I want to do it? No. Why would I? I mean, it comes with a guidebook. So obviously it means that the guidebook is there for you as a tarot reader or a tarot collector to be read and to, you know, get to know what Lisa was thinking when she was thinking about these cards and what she meant with the symbols and everything. Did I say, by the way, it is edged in this really beautiful pink mauve, I would say, rosy color, which is really cool. And so yes, I'm quite excited about having received this deck. I'm really excited also about the Sassy Dragon, and so I can't wait for that one to arrive in Australia, but obviously the campaign hasn't been launched yet at the time of filming, so it will take a few months. In any case, this is the Unicorn's Journey Tarot, and it's by Lisa Pepez and Francesca Baiocchi. But now let me talk about another reward from a Kickstarter campaign that I am so excited about. This is the Winter Season Tarot by Daniel Normal. And Daniel is actually the same creator as the Walking Meditation Tarot, which is, if you have watched my top 10 tarot decks for the fall season, it's actually one of them because I absolutely adore the vibes of the deck, but that is a very distinct autumn or fall vibe. And as opposed to that, the winter season, as the title says, is something that really gives you that delicious wintry vibes that already it's almost as if we were talking about Christmas already, but not yet. So it's the anticipation of Christmas and the happiness that goes with that festivity, and you know, the air in which everything is cheerful and merry and bright, and you know, but also the snow and the feeling of quiet and peace and stillness in the air. So I was expecting this deck. It came a couple of weeks ago actually, but I did not have, so I was filming all of these videos about my Halloween decks and my fall decks and my Samhain decks and everything, and I just did not have enough other let's say Kickstarter rewards that I had received in order to do a Kickstarter haul. But then today I was like, you know what, I'm going to unbox Lisa's deck, and I'm just going to unbox Danielle's deck as well. So really happy about this deck because it will be a perfect companion to the Walking Meditation Tarot, which you guys know that I use all the time because it's actually one of the decks that I use thanks to the fact that it does give you the possibility to, you know, go out on a walk and do a certain ritual of meditation. and focusing and mindfulness, and also it is one of the decks that I use for grounding, which is a very important thing to do. Let me just remind you, I know that I keep on saying that, but for this season of Samhain, it is very crucial for everyone to find the way to balance back the flow of energies that we are going through. So obviously Samhain is very exhausting for a lot of us, especially the most sensible ones of us, because of this way in which we can actually communicate with the loved ones that are beyond the veil. But at the same time, we need to remember that we always need to protect ourselves, protect our hearts, and make sure that we find that sense of balance. And the Walking Meditation Tarot is absolutely fantastic for that. Now, I don't know, because this is, as I always say, this is an unboxing. This is a first impression. I have no idea about the vibes of this deck. So this, I don't know whether it's a balancing deck, a grounding deck. It might very well be, but maybe not. So the Winter Season Tarot, as I said, and as you can imagine, because of the title, obviously it is based on winter. It says here, enjoy the magic that this winter season themed deck brings as you play your way through each card, stepping deeper into a winter wonderland. Allow the soothing and grounding energies to ignite your heart with playful possibilities and snowy inspiration. I am all for it. I love, oh, look at this, that is so cute. I believe this is called a blue jay. I could be wrong though. Sorry, I'm not great in knowing the English names of animals. I mean, I know the most common ones, but when it comes to birds, it's actually really difficult for me. I believe it's a blue jay. If it's not, please let me know in the comments below. But what I love about it is that it's wearing one of those postal satchels. That is really, really cute. So I absolutely adore this. Let me just double check if there's something at the back here as well. Of course. So I hope that Winter Season Tarot becomes a snowy friend to you, giving you permission to find more joy in this colder season as you embrace the magic within it. This deck was created just for you. Love, Danny. That is amazing. Loving also the card images on the backs. So let's have a look. So as I said, we do have the guidebook here, but as always, I may or may not read from it. It's just something that it doesn't always happen. So we got a little bit of introduction here, of course. And so it's basically an introduction by Danny. The winter season, she lives in, I was about to say she's Canadian. I don't know whether she's Canadian. I know that she lives in Canada, and she lives in Ontario, Canada, where on average they experience 6 to 8 months of snow depending on the year. That is amazing. That sounds amazing to me, because I love the snow and I love snowy landscapes and I love the mountains and I love the evergreen trees covered in snow. And yes, I know I live in Australia, which I don't know what that says about me, but I certainly don't see the snow here unless I, for some reason, go to, you know, the northern hemisphere when it's winter time, and then in that case, of course, I will seek the snow out because I absolutely love it. But we don't get snow in Australia. We do get some snow, perhaps once or twice a year, in the what's it called, the Kosciuszko Mountain, which is the highest peak in Australia, which is it's not high at all. If you're used to the Alps, it's not really high. But we can jump over the pond and go to New Zealand, for example, and they have some fantastic winter season over there. So moving on, there's a couple of spreads that I can see here. Your personal winter journey spread, for example. And then it starts with a major arcana. So in this case as well, we don't have the small thumbprint of the card, but as I said, this is absolutely not a problem, because guess what? We have the cards and we can refer back to them. We have a little bit of a description for the card, and then we have the upright and the reverse meaning, which is always good. And that goes for also the minors, which is always fantastic. And I like that it's very compact. There's also here, okay, so it talks about extra cards, and then it talks about winter poem. And I'm loving this. It talks about a list of outdoors winter's activities in no particular order: snowshoeing, snowboarding, skiing, skating, snowmobiling, etc. I love all of these. Really, seriously, I love all of these. So The last time that I was in the Northern Hemisphere was for my birthday this year in February. And I don't think I will go to the Northern Hemisphere during winter for a couple of years. So I will definitely miss this, but you know what? It's actually nice because when I miss something, then it creates the anticipation when I know that I'm finally going back, and it's going to be even nicer to be able to do so. This is also, no, oh, sorry, I was about to say it's also linen, but it's not. So let me just remove the belly band, which is in paper, by the way, always appreciated. And these are the bags, which are showing these really beautiful snowflakes. And okay, so it's a papery, cardboardy kind of cardstock that I actually really like, because I believe, let me just try. Okay, so this is a very smooth kind of auditory experience. There are some decks that are made out of very similar kind of cardstock that when you do this with your cards on your fingers, you will hear a very distinct sound. Now, think about, for example, the Ember and Nora Tarot. It's my favorite example because that has got the best auditory experience of all of my decks in my entire collection. And it's one thing that whenever I talk about that deck, I always do like this with the two cards, just to show you a bit of ASMR. In this case, it's very smooth, so I believe, I could be wrong, I'm not an expert, but I believe there is a little bit of a top coat in here, and so that's the reason why it doesn't feel like there's much friction. But this also means that it's a deck that obviously will be very easy to handle, even if you have injuries on your finger and you don't do riffle and bridge shuffle, you will certainly be able to overhand shuffle with this deck, and also of course with Lisa's deck. So as always, this is not a walkthrough, it's just an unboxing. Really loving the snow here, absolutely. Oh, see, when I look at this now, and it's 28 degrees in Sydney, and I already feel like I want to go back to the north because I want to go and see the snow. And oh my goodness, this is a really big wolf. With strength. I absolutely recognize the way in which you have to show strength when you're facing a wolf this big. So I feel like I really want to get reacquainted with the snow, but then again, it is what it is. Of course, Australia has got some amazing seasons. Here we have the opposite of Dani. So Dani in Canada, she has, she was saying, between 6 to 8 months of snow every year. We have 6 to 8 months of summer every year in Australia, also depending on how much the weather is changing, the climate is changing. We do see a lot of tropical weather being more and more to be found frequently in Sydney. Although I believe this is Sydney right now. If you ask me, this is literally Sydney right now. And I love that it's the Three of Wands, because it tells you, it talks about travel, and obviously it tells you about the possibility, if you live in a place where there's snow 6 to 8 months a year, you might want to travel to a warmer place. And guess what, Dani? For me, it's the opposite. If I live in a place where we have 6 to 8 months of summer every year, I want to travel to a place where I can finally enjoy the snow. So if you want to snap, I'm all for it. So it's a really beautiful deck. Loving Six of Wands, of course, with the trophy. Oh, this is the ice sculptures. So I know that I was supposed to go to, where is it? Alaska. I was supposed to go to Alaska a couple of years ago during the Iditarod. So Iditarod is a race with Alaska Malamutes, I believe. I could be wrong. But in any case, with sleighs, pulled by I believe, Alaska Malamutes. It could be Huskies. And it's very famous. It's historical. And at the same time, there was to be the ice sculpting or ice sculptures festival in the same, I believe it could have been Fairbanks, but I could be wrong. Unfortunately, we didn't have the opportunity to go, but it is still on my bucket list, the Iditarod for sure. And then there's a lot of places around the world that have these ice sculptures tournaments or competitions. One of the most famous ones is actually in Hokkaido. And you know, Hokkaido is even closer to Australia, even though it is at the northernmost part of Japan, but it is closer to Australia than Canada or Alaska. And so I might, one day I might be able to actually go there. I love that even this dove is carrying this postal worker kind of satchel. And the polar bear, of course, this looks like the Svalbard to me, the Knight of Cups. And of course you've got the Northern Lights. Northern Lights are something that will always forever stay in my heart. I've seen them both in Iceland and in Arctic Norway. And it was just absolutely fantastic, especially the one in Arctic Norway, because we had to drive 600 kilometers north of the Arctic Circle. So we were really, really far north. And it was absolutely amazing. And this one rings a bell because guess what? It actually does happen. This is not urban legend. If you never tried, you don't know how much of a panic situation this is. Because you're like, okay, yeah, well, sure, I'm gonna stuck here forever. Because it really feels like your tongue is completely stuck, glued to the ice, and there's absolutely no way that you can remove it or you can detach it, and then eventually you can, thankfully, most of the time because of your breath being warm and melting the ice around it. Oh, Nine of Swords, that is really haunting. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a face here. Oof, okay, really haunting card. In any case, that's the blue jay, I believe, that we saw earlier in the inside part of the box. So really loving this. It's got a lot of white and gray and blue colors, which is my favorite. And the snow, of course, every single card looks like it's covered in snow. I really enjoy this. I enjoy the idea behind this as well, and these are the additional cards, and of course we got a Christmas card as well. Really can't wait to use this, even though I don't know whether I will convince myself that I can use it in December, even though December is really warm for us in Australia. So I don't know whether I will wait for our winter, which is generally starting in June, July, and then it lasts for 2 weeks and then it starts being warm again. So I don't know. We'll see, but I'm very excited about this. And next up, because I couldn't resist, we have a couple of decks that are still related to Halloween, to this Samhain, this autumn season, which, you know, for us is not autumn, but it doesn't matter. And in this case, though, at least the next deck is a kind of a funny take, a whimsical take on the scary side of Halloween. And it's this one here. Now, this is a very special deck. Why? Because this is not just Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas tarot deck, but it's a Funko version, or I don't know whether you're familiar, it says so here. So I don't know whether you're familiar with Funko or not. These are the Funko dolls that you can find well, pretty much anywhere, I think, nowadays. But when they started, I believe that we didn't have any in Australia. And I remember there's a colleague of my husband who's actually collecting these, and he's got, I believe, something like 1,000, if not more. And at the very beginning, I think that he had to source them overseas because they were not available here. I'm not entirely sure, but in any case, I know that at the beginning it wasn't as easy. They were not as easy to find. And now, guess what? They become so popular in Australia as well as the rest of the world that at least in Australia, you don't have to look for them. You can find them in a vendor. So there's a lot of shopping malls that will have a vending machine, literally a vending machine that will distribute these Funko dolls. And so that tells you the measure of how popular they've actually become, you know, from being almost impossible to find here or to source here in Australia to being practically in every single shopping mall, at least in Sydney, I don't know elsewhere. So this is the Funko version of the very well-known tarot, Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas. So let's have a look, because I have actually seen a walkthrough of this deck, but I had not had the possibility to have a look at it in person, and so it's going to be really interesting. As always, it comes with the guidebook. So there is a full size page dedicated to the full color depiction of the card, so that's really cool. And we got a little bit of a description, it says here, of the character. We get to know that this is indeed Jack Skellington, and then we have a little bit of an upright and reversed interpretation of the card. Which goes for, I'm guessing, also the minors, or perhaps not. No, when it comes to the minors, we have a much smaller thumbprint, but again, this is absolutely not a problem. I said present because it says here is the renaming of a suit, obviously, so I just read it. But in any case, as when it comes to the major arcana, we also have the upright and the reversed meaning of the cards. I'm just trying to see whether we also have maybe a couple of spreads, but it doesn't really look like it. No, this is the understanding your tarot deck, and perhaps at the end. By the way, this is a mass market deck. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. It is a mass market deck. It is an Insight edition deck, and the authors are Minerva Sigo and Murillo Cleto. So Murillo is actually from Brazil and self-taught illustrator, absolutely fantastic the way. Yes, we do have a spread here, so it will be really cool, more than one. That's awesome. So it will be really cool to see how to use these. But as I said, this is just an unboxing, guys, so I'm not gonna do a spread for now. Tarot readings, of course, and then we go back to the cards. I'm curious to see, because there is a renaming of the minors, of course. We got potions, we got needles, which I assume is obviously swords, and then we got presents, which seems to me like it could be cups or pentacles. Let's just have a look. The Seven of Presents reminds you to keep your long-term goals in mind. No, that's pentacles, so obviously that one there, potions, is cups, which actually makes sense. I should have known. And when it comes to the renaming of the Suit of Wands, they call them candles, which makes sense because you've got the fire of the candle in there. Really excited to have a look at this deck. So here it comes. I really like the box as well. Let me just put it aside for the time being. And this is a deck. It looks really thick. The cardstock look really thick. And I have to say, let me just try out how it feels like. Yeah, that confirms my suspicions. So this feels like a very sturdy deck. It's a bit stiff, I have to say. However, this does present with a lovely bounce to it. I am not entirely sure about the durability of these cards. I have other decks by Insight Edition. I don't necessarily use all of them. The one that I use the most is most likely the Stranger Things tarot deck, and I do tend to use that one much more than the Ghostbuster Tarot. And I have to say, after a lot of uses, the edges of these particular cards tend to fray a little bit. They become thicker, perhaps because of the humidity. So I'm not saying that it's the fault of the cardstock, but in my present condition as someone who lives in Sydney, which is a rather humid place, or it's becoming so at least, that is what happened to the Stranger Things Tarot. I don't know whether it will happen with this one as well, but it does feel like it's the same cardstock. We'll see. In any case, so look at how cute this is, how freakishly cute this is. And I think that the term freakishly cute is actually really a good choice, because it is freakish at the same time as cute. I just absolutely love this. And obviously it does refer back to Tim Burton's Night Before Christmas. So I mean, I think we'll all watched it, obviously, so there's not going to be any spoilers here when you look at the cards. If you haven't watched that movie, what on earth are you doing? Just stop whatever you're doing, go back and watch the movie. It's a fantastic Halloween, but it's also a Christmas movie. So obviously it does kind of mix up you know, the two festivities, because Jack Skellington's speciality is about Halloween. However, he goes to the Christmas village by mistake, and he finds that he wants to try and take and adapt the Christmas tradition into his own place as well. But obviously, he only knows about Halloween, and so it's a really odd, weird mix between Christmas symbology and Halloween symbology. Now, having said that, I'm looking currently at these cards, and I will have to say that although most of Insight Edition decks have very lazy pips minors, sometimes they gift us with really beautiful decks that actually have illustrative or fully scenic minors. This one is not 100% fully scenic, and you've probably seen that, I believe, with this card, for example, which is the Six of Candles. And obviously the Six of Wands, you would have expected to see at least a crown. But it's okay, because at least, you know, not all of the minors are lazy pips. And for one person that I am, that I keep on hoping that the next deck by Insight Edition will be fully illustrated, fully scenic, you know, when I find that it's probably 50-60% illustrated, I'm actually happy. So I can't complain. Okay, so moving on to the suit of presents, which we heard, of course, was about Pentacles, so the suit of Earth. And yeah, it's really, look, it's cute. Okay, it's really cute. Yes, it is a bit peepish, but it's still really cute. And obviously when you look at the quote cards are really funny as well. And then we've got the suit of needles, which is obviously the suit of swords, the suit of air. So some, and it's a bit of a hit and miss. Some cards will be lazy pips, other cards will be fully scenic. But we're happy. Look at this 10 of needles, for example. Isn't it just fantastic? I really love the way in which they portrayed these 10 swords or needles that are piercing these soft needle placeholder. Really, really love it. And then moving on to the suit of potion, which is, as we specified earlier, is the suit of cups. And again, really cute cards. And you go from, you know, you go from the Four of Potions, which is the Four of Cups in this case here, which is, okay, it's illustrated in the sense that it shows you 4 cups, 4 bottles. But at the same time, it is not fully scenic in the sense that normally, generally speaking, we would expect some symbology that reminds us of the RWS. So perhaps, you know, one of these 4 could have been coming in from the side of the frame and being offered by a hand, which will remind us of the traditional way to depict the Four of Cups, but it's not. So it's obviously, it is a bit of a hit and miss, and I still don't understand why they mix it up like that. There might be a reason, I have no idea. And then again, you move from the Four of Cups to the Five of Cups, in which you actually see, you know, like a scene, an actual scene illustrated where there's this angel that is carrying this marshmallow figure that is really, really sad. And so there is that sense of loss that is carried by the Five of Cups. And by the way, we are in Scorpio 1, which is the Five of Cups, referring to the Five of Cups as a minor. And what I've done, I always do my deck and walk with my members, the members on my channel. But in this case, what I've actually done is I filmed this video for, as in the members only, deck and walk for Scorpio 1. And next week, I'm going to release it to all of you as well. So because there's been a few of you asking me if there was a possibility to just watch a couple of videos of what I'm doing with my members. This is one of the things that I'm doing with my members. There's a lot more than that, but it's one of those things. So you will be able to access that video next week. So we're moving into the Six of Potions, of course, and then again, you know, okay, the Six of Potions is all about the nostalgia. And I mean, I really have to drive the narrative here because I don't necessarily see that here. Or the Seven of Potions, again, about describing the choice and having too many things to choose from and not necessarily knowing how to make up your mind because you don't know that some of them can actually be toxic for you. And then the Eight of Potions or the Eight of Cups. Nine of Potions and the Ten of Potions. Look, it's absolutely fine. I'm not complaining. I know how to read. It's even the lazy pips, it's fine. I like it. It's really funky. It's Funko and it's funny. It's whimsical. I love the majors. I think it's really well done, and so be it. I don't always have to get upset, you know what, because the peeps are lazy. It's really fine. And at this point in time, it would be, you know, it would be very naive of me to hope, still hope that there will once be one Insight Edition tarot decks with 100% illustrated minors or fully scenic minors. It's fine. We like it anyway. Alright, I've been talking a lot today. We've come to the last deck that I wanted to show you, and this is a deck that is still for Halloween. So same kind of vibes, same kind of energy. However, this is more scary than I initially thought because it does have a bit of a graphic novel kind of style. But when I watched a couple of walkthroughs, I kind of realized that the cards are actually quite kind of scary. And it's not a new deck. You would have seen this already. It's called the Horror Tarot. This is a Insight Edition. You know, guys, I actually didn't know that this one was an Insight Edition deck as well. Okay, well, you know, jokes on me, but I think that this might be fully illustrated. I'm not entirely sure, so let's just check it out. And for those of you who are probably yelling at the screen, yes, there is one Insight Edition that is fully illustrated, and it's the Horror Tarot. Well, there you go. Now I know. I mean, I think I do because I did watch a couple of walkthroughs, and I don't remember seeing Lazy Peeps. So this could be it. I'm not entirely sure though, so I don't want to raise my hopes. It is what it is. Whatever I remember about this deck, I really, really like. So I'm counting on that. Box, as always, really nice. I actually really like the way in which you have these images on the sides that I believe represent the renaming of the minors, I think. And there is one thing that people keep on telling me about this deck, that it's a bit of a problem, and it's the titles on the cards, because apparently we're talking about a darker background, so a blackish darker background with a dark red title. So the writing is bright, like a dark red, so that might be difficult to read. Here, so we got the majors, full page as always. We do see full pages on Insight decks all the time, so you know, you can't say anything about the guidebooks because they actually are quite nice. And we're switching to smaller thumbprints when it comes to the minors, which is absolutely fine. So we probably also have a couple of readings, yeah, spreads here. So caring for your deck, preparing to read tarot. And we got, for example, a few sample spreads. So it will be interesting to try these ones too, because I'm expecting to be in theme with the season, and also obviously in theme with the theme of the deck. And I can see already that it's slightly warped, even more than slightly, because it literally bounces. I don't know if you can see that. It's okay. I mean, this is a mass market deck. Obviously, Insight Edition is a publication mass market. It is very affordable. It does, however, have this kind of really odd shape, because the bottom part of the deck seems to be the one that is warped, and the upper part is not. But this one is definitely warped, so it's literally rocking from here to there. I don't mind, seriously, I do not mind one bit. It's absolutely fine. It was very affordable, so I'm very happy that I've got this deck, and I might actually edge this in a very bloody brown red color, we'll see, to match the borders. So as always, I noticed that I'm kind of appreciating the borders more and more sometimes, especially when they are like this, because they really bring something more to the cards, let's say, to the art style of the cards. So I'm actually really liking them. I can guarantee and confirm 100% that I do struggle a lot to read the titles. I am wearing my reading glasses, the correct prescription of my reading glasses, not the older prescription. So it's not my fault that I can't read it. It is not the clearest of the writings here, which is really a pity. Because I'm expecting, I can read the numbers though, so that should make it easier, because I promise you I cannot read this at all, but I can see that it's number 9, so this is the Hermit, and I would not honestly be able to tell you that this is the Hermit had I not seen the number. So just from, let's say, the the images on the card. This is the Justice card, this is the Hang one. Look how really dark, but it's a delicious kind of dark. So we were discussing about the fact that many of us use adjectives that are normally related to food to describe something beautiful. And that is because it really gives me the idea that I can almost taste how beautiful this deck is. I know that it sounds super weird. I apologize. I don't want to weird you out. It's just that that's the way I express myself. This is so nice. Really dark and beautiful. And as I said, this does have a little bit of a graphic novel kind of situation here. But at the same time, it will be, you know, I was kind of deceptively taken into believing that it was funny, that it was whimsical, not as much probably as the Funko Nightmare Before Christmas, but something similar. Instead, it looks really dark. Oh, and this one reminds me of The Fall of the House of Usher by Edgar Allan Poe, where the protagonist is buried alive and then she's scratching her way out of the coffin, which is really terrifying for me because I do suffer from claustrophobia. This is the Five of Swords. You know what? Oh, the Six of Swords. Look how beautiful this is. I love everything about this card. Why didn't I get this deck sooner? I know it's been out for a year and a half. I really don't understand why I didn't buy this deck sooner. Anyway, better late than never. I am really going to enjoy this deck for Halloween, which is going to be next week, finally. And I have to say, it does look like it's fully illustrated. But then again, because I'm really struggling to read the title, I don't even know what this is. Okay, I believe this is the Page of Pentacles. So I will have to read the book about that, because I don't immediately refer to the Page of Pentacles when I see that one. It is beautiful, guys. It's just, yeah, I mean, I still believe that this is fully illustrated, is fully scenic. Even this one, because this is the spider web, and it talks about, you know, because the spider web is gluey, it's got some kind of substance on the threads that is really gluey, and it keeps the praise. And sometimes spiders actually they wrap the praise around the ones that they get caught in the spider web. They wrap them around their threads, and they just keep them there, like they don't eat them straight away, or at least that's what I think. That's the Five of Pentacles. Still, not entirely, we don't see people here, but I can still relate to that. And the Six of Pentacles, which I cannot entirely relate with, but I will definitely make sure to check out the guidebook. And the Seven of Pentacles, Eight of Pentacles. Really scary Nine of Pentacles. My goodness, this I would have honestly pictured this from the Nine of Swords and the Ten of Pentacles, and we're looking at Wands now. Wow, that's beautiful. So in any case, let me know what you think about this deck in the comments below. I'm always interested to hear people's opinion about the decks that I'm presenting, because as I said many times already in this video, these are first impressions. These are my first impressions. And sometimes I don't always get them right. Sometimes I don't. I may miss something, but that's literally because I'm allowing myself to just unbox the decks and, you know, and getting to look at them without any kind of, let's say, discipline behind it. I'm not looking into working with them yet. So this is literally my first approach with them. And it's a very nice approach because, you know, I do form first impressions and then I go over them and I decide whether I was right or wrong. And you know, more often than not, when I do a deep dive, for example, I may even change my mind. In this case, I really love this deck as well, and these are the backs. Very simple but effective. So that was it for today. Really long video for a few decks, but in any case, let me know in the comments below if you think of another deck that I could get probably mass market, because when we're looking at indie decks, it's going to be nigh to impossible to have them shipped to Australia. But if you think that I'm missing out, like a major miss out on a Halloween deck, let me know in the comments below, because I will definitely check it out. If you like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe, because it really helps growing my channel, and the more I can grow my channel, the more content I can post, so it's very much appreciated. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.